What is going on, guys? It's that time of the year again. This is the Club of Demand 1993. This is my WWE Women's 2021 Royal Rumble recap and review. As tradition, every year I go back from the previous year and just do like a little recap and review series to kind of just add on to my retro review series that I've done for all the Royal Rumble matches in WWE history. This, of course, does not include the greatest Royal Rumble from 2018. I did not do that one. I watched it at Rumble one time. It was boring. It meant nothing. It was pointless. I'm not going to go back and do that one. But anyways, we are going to talk about last year's Royal Rumble matches. Starting, of course, first with the Women's 2021 Royal Rumble match, which was personally a really good match. I felt, in a couple little hokey moments, this one, I felt at the time, really established, well, could have at least established the future of both brands for the women's division, especially with who it came down to in the final two. Some surprise entrants, not too many. A couple new surprises that we haven't gotten before. But it was, of course, the night that began the rise to the top for one certain female superstar, as she would go on to headline the main event of Night 1 of Wrestlemania 37 and have a classic and personally one of my favorite women's matches of all time. And of course, this was before also a ton of releases happened too. So a lot of these names you'll hear in these two Rumble videos, you will think back and wow, I can't believe the person was there that last year, because of the 100 releases WWE has done over the past year. But without further ado, let's talk about this Rumble match. Of course, this match took place last year on January 31st, 2021 at the WWE Thunderdome at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. The stipulation, of course, as always, is the number one contendership for Wrestlemania for any of the women's titles. Of course, we saw in 2020 when Charlotte Flair won the Rumble, she didn't go after the Raw or SmackDown Women's Championship. She went after the NXT Women's Championship, which was different and a good gamble. Just wish the other person, the actual NXT Women's Champion at the time, would have won, but what do I know? Let's roll in, though, and talk about this one. So, the number one entrant was Bayley. Forgot about Bayley as well, didn't you? Well, she's been out since right before Money in the Bank with a bad knee injury. She could return at the Women's Rumble this coming Saturday. We'll see how that happens or not. Well, maybe not. And the number two entrant was Naomi. She had been out. This is another year of Naomi returning at the Rumble. She was out for some time. I can't remember what the reason was for this time. I think it was injury this time which she was out for. But she made a return and was number two, and I think had a very long performance in the match, which I was definitely glad to see her get one of those Iron Man performances. And Bayley, of course, as well. Bayley didn't last as long as I thought she would. I thought Bayley would go to at least till the final four. Of course, she was in the feud with the favorite to win this match at the time, who she would feud with after WrestleMania until she got injured. But we started off with those two. The number three entrant was my pick to win, Bianca Belair. And she was everybody's favorite to win. And I thought her coming number three, I'm like, oh boy. She came in pretty early. I worried that they may not have gone with Bianca then, since she came in at that early. But giving her the Iron Man performance, because the year before she had 8 eliminations in the 2020 Women's Rumble and had an excellent performance. This is about her getting, of course, more of an Iron Man performance out of this one and hopefully winning the Rumble. So she came in at number 3. There was a sequence where Bianca and Naomi were kind of tied in with each other, but of course both of them having great athleticism, did like cartwheels while holding on to the other, which was a fancy looking spot there, as I like to mention, of course, in these recaps. Number 4 was Billie Kay. This was when Billie Kay was kind of... I never knew if Billie Kay was a face or a heel in her last run, but she had the resume gimmick when she was walking around trying, showing off her resume, but she didn't get in the match at first. She kind of acted like the Heath Slater here. The person who would just get beat up for the fun of it, but yet they weren't completely heel, though, either. But she stayed on commentary for a bit, just auditioning herself with her resume. Number 5 was Shotzi Blackheart, who was still with NXT at the time. And Billie Kay, of course, anybody who came out, Billie Kay ran up to them hoping to, be able to, pitch them being partners or whatnot. Shotzi literally shot her down by launching a cannonball at her. Number 6 was Shayna Baszler, who would take out Billie Kay when she asked her. Definitely also, personally to me, was a favorite to win for me last year, but I didn't think she was... I wasn't confident she was going to win. I did not, and of course I was right, but she did last pretty long time. I think she got to the final 6, I think it was she got to. Number 7 was Toni Storm. Toni Storm, the same Toni Storm who just recently walked out on WWE and paid her own way to fly home. Good for you, girl. She was a heel in NXT at the time, and she just simply ignored Billie Kay. Shotzi Blackheart, though, was the first elimination of the match, as Shayna Baszler would eliminate her. Of course, two of them did have history, as when Shotzi was in a number one contenders battle royale in NXT at the end of 2019, she actually was the one who eliminated Shayna Baszler from that battle royale. So there was a little bit of history there. Number 8 was another surprise entrant, Jillian Hall. I think this was the first time that Jillian Hall actually made an appearance in the Rumble match. And Billie Kay actually offered again to be her partner, and Jillian Hall did accept. So they basically went to town and worked together for a little bit. Ruby Riott came in at number 9, and I think there was kind of a little bit of a story with Billie Kay and the Riott Squad somewhat working together at the time. So Billie Kay, Jillian Hall, and Ruby Riott were briefly like a three-person alliance, like for maybe like a minute or so when Ruby came in. Number 10 was Victoria, another fresh surprise. Because again, for the first few women's Rumble matches, I feel like there was some women that we were always getting. Like we're always getting Kelly Kelly, Michelle McCool, Tori Wilson, who's appeared in several one of them. But I like it. They're mixing up. Got a couple new ones in there. We had Jillian Hall. We got Victoria, which I believe were the only really two new ones for from past wrestlers, from what I could see. Yeah, I believe that is it for those types, but there were still several NXT ones also in there. Number 11 was Peyton Royce, which of course led to an iconic reunion. Now they're the Inspiration, and apparently because there's a Forbidden Door now open, and Mickie James, the current Knockouts champion, is going to be in the Rumble match this year. Apparently Billie Kay and Peyton Royce were asked to appear in the Rumble match as well. They turned it down though, which good for them. I agree. Definitely can't trust Vince having Mickie James come in for that. Number 12 was NXT's Santana Garrett. I liked Santana Garrett when she was around. Problem though was, of course, this is before NXT completely crapped out, but there just wasn't any room for her in the women's division, unfortunately. But I thought she had a nice little showing here in the Rumble, though. Number 13 was Liv Morgan. Billie Kay and Jillian Hall had turned on each other, so Billie eliminated Jillian Hall. And then the Riott Squad of Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan, again, this is before Ruby Riott was released, also became Ruby Soho, but they teamed up and took out Billie Kay. Number 14 was my second pick, I would say, to win this match for sure, and that was Rhea Ripley, who was still in NXT at the time, and of course she was the one who Charlotte Flair challenged for the NXT Women's Championship the year before at WrestleMania 36. I think Rhea should have won that match, by the way, but it is what it is at this point. She came in, and she first got into a little bit with her former rival Toni Storm. She eliminated Storm. Shayna Baszler would then eliminate Victoria, and then Rhea Ripley, even though she hit a nice looking split, eliminated Santana Garrett. Originally, though, Garrett landed on the apron though in a split, which was a nice little spot there. But then Rhea kicked her off the apron, and she was eliminated. Then number 15 was, of course, another person I know a lot of people were fearing would win this. We didn't want her to win, even though she was being booked as a babyface at this time. Charlotte Flair. And also remember, this is one of the only pay-per-views that you'll probably ever see Charlotte Flair be on the pre-show. As she was women's tag champions with Asuka at the time, they took on the horrible duo of Nia Jax. Yeah, remember her? Yeah, she's gone too, remember that? And Shayna Baszler, who is not gone yet. I'm surprised, but I would rather see her be booked better, but I don't believe they will at this point. But they did drop the titles back to Jax and Baszler, though, on the pre-show. But yeah, one of the few times we'll ever see Charlotte Flair on the pre-show. She came in, and as she was making an entrance, though, Bayley eliminated Ruby Riott. Number 16 was Dana Brooke, and then Peyton Royce eliminated Liv Morgan. Number 17 was Tori Wilson, who would eliminate Dana Brooke to give herself an elimination. Then out came number 18. I completely forgot this story almost happened. I'm sorry, it did, but I completely forgot that had to halt because of somebody getting pregnant. And it stopped a horrible match that I'm pretty sure was going to happen at WrestleMania last year for the Raw Women's Championship until they changed it to Asuka and Rhea Ripley. Yeah, that match did not go over too well. I'll be honest. It just showed Asuka and Rhea, unfortunately, just didn't have great chemistry, unfortunately. Rhea winning the title, the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania last year was, the right move to do, but it was just her and Asuka just didn't really have the most memorable match. But, it happens. Number 18. Again, Ric Flair came out to be in the corner for Miss, say it all again, you guys. I got my blonde hair, I got my blue eyes, I got my big tits, big slams. Yeah, that's right, Lacey Evans. I completely forgot about Lacey Evans. Because I'm pretty sure, because Lacey Evans has been on maternity leave because she got pregnant. Which at first I didn't believe. I thought it was part of the story because of the awkward story they were doing with her, Charlotte Flair, and Ric Flair. Because again, remember, Charlotte Flair was a babyface at this time. It looked like what was going to happen was, at Elimination Chamber, Lacey was going to win the Raw Women's Championship from Asuka, ripping off Asuka from another title defense at WrestleMania again, well, singles title at least. And it looked like they were going to set up for a match with Lacey Evans and Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Oh dear God, that would have been awful. Even though Vince would have loved it. But then, no, then Lacey got pregnant, and then Charlotte got sick, and also she was dealing with stuff with her and Andrade at the time, because that's when Andrade got released. Charlotte was not on the WrestleMania card last year. Shocking for sure. But, of course, her and Lacey get into a big brawl to start it off with when they first came out there. But then she was able to take that energy, Flair was able to take that energy and get back into it, as she would then eliminate Peyton Royce. And then Shayna Baszler eliminated Tori Wilson. But then Bianca Belair, just as number 19's entrant Mickie James came out, Bianca Belair eliminated her rival at the time, Bayley. Which again, I thought Bayley would at least go to the Final Four, but she went out, a little bit earlier than I thought, but, she still had a good showing in the match, I thought. But yeah, Mickie James came out number 19. She was just about getting ready to get out the door. They were getting ready to release her when she came out number 19. And, of course, before the garbage bag incident, and, she's going to be brought back, and Hopefully they don't give her a crappy showing in the Rumble match. Who knows? But you never know anymore. But she was number 19. They had a good showdown, remember, with her and Charlotte in this match. I don't think we ever got to see that match when she was in WWE. Number 20 was Nikki Cross. Yes, her sanity theme was gone, but she was still, like, whatever character she was when her and Alexa Bliss were besties, and she had this new theme song. This is before she became almost a superhero. But yeah, Nikki Cross. Number 21, one of my good old favorites, Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox. And this was a complete joke, because this is my least favorite part of the match. R-Truth came out, got in the match, basically causing like a 24/7 fiasco, was using Alicia Fox to protect him from people who were coming after him and his baby, which led to Alicia Fox then pinning R-Truth in the middle of the ring during the match to become the 24/7 champion. But then Mandy Rose came out number 22. This is before Mandy went back to NXT and dyed her hair black, because I'm still surprised that she's even getting a push, because she dyed her hair the wrong color. She's got to have that blonde hair to give Vince attention, but, good for her still for getting, the women's title in NXT. But she came in and she eliminated Alicia Fox, and then R-Truth pinned her to get the 24/7 title back. Awkward, weird as hell, but Then number 23 was Dakota Kai. Her second Rumble appearance. She had appeared the year before, or no, wait. No, in the 2019 Rumble. No. 2020 Rumble. Yeah, 2020 Rumble, because she had turned heel, and it was a few months after the War Games match. Because I remember they missed the opportunity of having her and Dakota Kai collide in her and Tegan Nox to collide in the Rumble. I miss Tegan also as well, but I hope she's doing well too. She didn't last too long in the match. Lacey Evans then eliminate Mickie James. Carmella came out number 24. Earlier in the show, she actually had a match against Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Title. This is when her and Reginald, at the time Reginald, were still together. But he basically escorted her with her drink, with her makeup and whatnot. In the meantime, Rhea Ripley would go on to eliminate Dakota Kai and Mandy Rose. Carmella would get knocked over the ropes, but then Reginald caught her and saved her being eliminated. And then, of course, Carmella would eliminate Nikki Cross because of doing so. But then number 25 was Tamina. In the midst of Tamina's entrance, Reginald saved Carmella again, until Tamina super kicked Reggie, which causes him to drop Carmella and eliminate her. We also had Naomi, who was pushed over the top rope, but landed on the floor, but she landed and rolled on her back. Her feet never technically touched. Bianca Belair was the one who tried to eliminate her. So, to get her feet back up, Naomi actually uses Bianca's hair as leverage. Pulls her up, puts her feet on the bottom ropes. Then Bianca gets her feet tangled on the bottom ropes, and she's kind of doing a handstand on the ground. But then they both showed respect, helped each other up, and they both stayed in the match. Number 26 was Lana. Of course, this is Lana's last run, where she was treated like an absolute joke. She was put through the table like 10 times by Nia Jax. She even, again, was the sole survivor for the Women's Survivor Series match, which was just a horrible match. And it made Lana look even more stupid. It made everybody else involved in the match look stupid. I honestly worried, because of, what they were doing, giving Lana, the sole survivor. She had won a title opportunity, and she really did nothing to do to earn. I honestly was worried they were going to give her the Rumble victory. Because if they're going to keep being goofy about her, why not her win the Rumble? But thank goodness they didn't do that. Alexa Bliss came out number 27. Now, of course, she came out as just, goddess Alexa Bliss. But when she got in the middle of the ring after doing some offense, and people were beating down on her because they all knew what she possessed at the time with her, being able to transform, from being the goddess into Harley Quinn Alexa Bliss, become more powerful. Right when she was about to do so, I liked how they did this. She was about to turn into Harley Quinn Alexa Bliss, or Lexi Quinn Alexa Bliss, but before she can go fully transform, Rhea Ripley eliminated her. I thought that was pretty smart of them doing that there. Number 28 was Ember Moon. Was surprised, definitely see her as a surprise entrant, knowing that, they treat her like crap on the main roster, and she got put back in NXT. I thought it would be a little too soon for her to appear in the Rumble match, but of course, they released her also last year as well, which was dumb of them. I can't wait to see her go to AEW. Number 29, Nia Jax. Yeah, she was number 29. Shayna got rid of Lacey Evans. Nia Jax eliminated Ember Moon like she was a joke. I remember when she came out and her and Shayna got on the same page again. I'm thinking, oh crap, this is going to be another Kane and Big Show from 2015. It was not completely, but they did kind of wreck a little bit of shop as getting to eliminate Evans, then Jax eliminated Moon, and then they teamed up to eliminate Naomi. But then there was a stare down between Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Tamina. It looked like that Nia was like in between who she wanted to be with, her actual family or her tag team partner that she always hated from the beginning anyways. But then the three of them turned on each other and they started brawling with each other. Jax and Baszler did team up though to eliminate Shayna Baszler, but then Nia then eliminated Shayna. Shayna and Nia eliminated Tamina, but then Nia eliminated Shayna. It's like, I just had to do what I gotta do. Because, Nia was just horrible in the ring and on the microphone in general, and I'm sorry. She's been released. I hope better for her, but I just couldn't stand her in WWE. But then, of course, she would then chase Lana like she was chasing a cat. And, like a cat chasing a mouse, but because of that, it bit her in the butt. And Nia got eliminated by Lana. Natalya came out number 30, which was announced ahead of time. I don't remember why. But Nia and Shayna were both outside, and they took out their frustrations by beating down on Natalya. Then they go back into the ring, and they did a few bumps, beat a few people up. Didn't eliminate anybody, though. And they just left them threw Natty back in the ring. Why? I don't know. The second thing that bummed up the match. Really, the only two things that bothered me, again, like I said, was the 24/7 title stuff, and then just the random thing with Nia and Shayna just, exploding on everybody for getting eliminated, like sore losers. Lana and Natty also teased them being reunited as they were briefly a tag team, but then Natty turned on Lana and eliminated her. Ouch. So the final four was Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Natalya. Natty was first then eliminated by Bianca Belair. Then basically it was Bianca and Rhea, like, okay, now we've got, the big fish to deal with. So they basically double teamed Charlotte most of the time, and they eventually got to get rid of her. But of course, Charlotte had that little smile on her face, that look of like, yeah, don't you worry, I'll still find my way to WrestleMania. She did not this time, as I said before. Again, I'm pretty sure the plan was her versus Lacey for the Raw Women's Championship, and she wins the Raw Women's Championship. Has like her WrestleMania babyface moment. I'm sure the crowd was turned on, but yeah, that didn't happen for Charlotte. But of course, there was a sequence at the end. The final two were the two that should have been the final two, and I think it was perfect. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. Rhea Ripley, who's getting ready to get called up, she's going to go to Raw anyways. At the time, the future of Raw and the future of SmackDown. Yes, they're both on Raw now, but, they both still had the WrestleMania moments, which is awesome. There was a moment in the match where it looked like Bianca's feet had touched the bottom ropes when they touched the floor when they were hanging from the bottom ropes. Of course, after some craziness on the apron, they finally sat down. I was like, okay, let's just roll in and go for it. And they had a good, probably like 5-minute, back and forth sequence. Again, between the two future stars, like the two future leaders of their divisions at the time, going at it. It was an awesome back and forth sequence. And then the person I picked to win from the number 3 spot, Bianca Belair, won the match by eliminating Rhea Ripley. Had a very emotional promo afterwards, and we all know what happened from there on. Bianca went on to WrestleMania 37, main evented in night 1 with Sasha Banks, and put on an absolute classic and won the SmackDown Women's Championship. It was an awesome moment for sure, and I'm very happy for Bianca. She was had the longest time in this match, going 56 minutes and 52 seconds, and coming in at number 3. Rhea Ripley, though, had the most eliminations with 7. The total time of this match also was 58 minutes and 50 seconds, and I gave this match an A-. A-. Again, yes, there was the 2 hokey things with the 24/7 title stuff, and then the stuff with Nia and Shayna beating down Natty for no reason, but storytelling was great. I enjoyed the surprises. The right story was told, and the right person went over with Bianca Belair winning the match. And that's my recap and review on the Women's 2021 Royal Rumble match. Next time we come up here, guys, I will be doing the Men's Royal Rumble recap and review from 2021. So, guys, as always, what were your thoughts on this match? What was your favorite moments of this? Did you agree Bianca was the right choice to win? Do you think somebody else should have won this match? Make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And be sure, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. And follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirBoy93. Until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch y'all later. Have a great rest of your night. And peace out, everybody.